Welcome everyone. This is Java tips and tricks. Before we actually start working on other examples and you start seeing all the videos and tutorials which we are going to share, here is a small introduction to you all so that you have the right setup with you before you start working on our examples, right? So to start working on Java, you need JDK. I would recommend JDK 1.8, which is a good version. You can implement all the basic concepts here. And you also require IDE. I'll be using Eclipse. So Eclipse is a very popular IDE which you can use. But before you start installing all these and which requires some time for you to download from the internet, you can also check some online compilers. Let us. So we have uh, online Java compilers. You can choose any of the compilers. There's one from Tutorials Point. You can choose that also. It's a very convenient one. So this is just a short gap adjustment before you install other things for you. So because so most of the times what happens is if things go wrong while installing, you will lose interest in learning this. So that is a reason I don't want you to hold yourself from learning the things. So you start downloading other things which I'll be telling uh, in a while, right? So before everything is set up in your system, you can start using this online compiler. As you see here, there is a sample program to print hello world, right? So you create a class. Hello world is the name of the class here, and you have a main method. Main method is the starting point for execution of your Java programs. And inside main, I have written a print statement. How do you print anything on the console? By writing system.out.println. System.out is your standard output device, which is your VDU, visual display unit, or your monitor. And whatever you want to print, you put it within the double quotes. And main always is public static void main. And why we have to write all this, what happens if I don't use this, all these things you will be learning in all my videos. All right. So here let me execute this. This is a simple hello world program. I'll click on execute. I can see the output here. So if you just observe here, the command to compile your Java source code is Java C. Java C is your command to compile Java code, and the name of the file, whatever you give, will have an extension .java. And whatever name you give to your file name, the same name, you always create a class, and that particular class will have a main method. So this will be the starting point of your Java program execution. So these are some of the norms which you have to remember. And whenever you create a class, make it a habit to use some conventions, like let the class name which you are going to create, let it be in uppercase. Let it begin with uppercase. And if you have multiple words in the class name, then all the words, let it start with a capital letter. This is one of the conventions we use in Java. Okay, now let us check how to download JDK. So what you can do is when you say install Java 8 on Windows, you have different versions for different operating system. I presume that you are going to work on Windows, so I'm taking Windows here. Install Java 8 on Windows. Just click on that. So here you get a link from oracle.com. So here you select Java SE Development 8. So just come down here. See, you have different versions here. You have for Linux, you have for Mac, you have for Solaris, and you have for Windows as well. So here you can choose Windows X64 or X86 depending on the system you are using. And you can select an installer here. This is an installer. exe file. When you click on this, this gets downloaded into your system. You have to accept and you can download this. Okay, when you try to do this for the first time, you need to create an account in Oracle. You can sign in with your account, or you can sign up also. So if you do not have Oracle accounts, you can go to view accounts in the same page, and here you can create an account coming down here. So when you say create an account, this you do it for the first time. You can enter your email address, password, retype, then fill all the details which are mandatory, and you can create an account. Once you create an account, you can always um, sign in with the same credentials, and you can start installing it. So when I click on this, it asks for me. I check and I can download it, right? So once you download Java, you can go to your C drive, program files. You have a folder called Java. So when you see that, you will um, see that the JDK wherever you had downloaded, you can extract it and you get a folder something like this. See, in my system, I have JDK 1.7 and 1.8 as well. So whichever version you are downloading, the same version, that there will be a folder. This is nothing but a folder. Now, how do you get this? When you unzip that exe file which you have downloaded and you run the exe file or the installer, it asks for the download, where do you want to download it. So that option you have to provide. So by default, when you choose all the default options, you will end up getting a folder like this inside program files. Okay, so we are done installing Java. So what is next? We need to install Eclipse IDE. While installing Eclipse also, be very careful. There are different flavors of Eclipse which are available. I recommend you to install Java Eclipse for Java EE developers. EE stands for Enterprise Edition. The reason is, if you install this particular edition, you'll be able to create web applications as well and other enterprise applications. So if you are planning to learn all the advanced concepts and the frameworks and all, so this would be a better flavor of Eclipse. So download Eclipse for Java EE developers. Now here select the first link, which is from Eclipse website itself. So here come down and select the operating system which you are using. Windows 64-bit I'm selecting. So as soon as I do it, it starts installing. So if you see in my system, it's installing. It's a zip folder again. So you can unzip it. When you extract it, you get a folder. This is not an installer. This is just a zip folder. Installed Eclipse in your systems. Now, once you unzip the zip folder of Eclipse after installing it from the website, you get a folder something like this. I have actually renamed it to New Eclipse, and from the downloads folder, I have copied into my other location. So when you select this folder, you get to see an exe file, eclipse.exe. So you double click on this to open Eclipse, or you can create a shortcut in your taskbar or in your on your desktop, so that you can it's easy to get into Eclipse. So as soon as you click eclipse.exe, it asks you to select a workspace. You can select the default workspace here, which I have already created. I have created my own workspace, so I'm selecting that. You can also choose whatever you want. You can click on browse, you can go to any folder or any drive here, and you can create a new folder. Suppose I create a new folder and say I gave it as test or something. I select test, click OK. I can do that way also. Okay, so when you open Eclipse, it looks something like this. So first time when you are entering Eclipse, it will give you a welcome message and you get a different dashboard. You can close that. So here you have a package explorer where you can create a project. I have already created a project. You can, if you want, you can create one more project here. So right click, new Java project. When you want to create a Java project, your perspective here should be Java perspective. Now it is Java EE and Java both, and I am selecting Java here. If this is not selected, you can go back on this and you can select Java here. Right? So that's how you create a Java project. So right click, Java project, and here you can give the name Java project. You can select the default JRE here and you can click on next and finish. Now once you create a folder, you have a folder called SRC, and here you can create a package, or you can let us create a class. While creating a class, it's asking you to create a package. What is a package? Package is nothing but um, physically it's a folder, logically it is a package. Okay, so whatever name you give here, all the class files are organized and they are put into that particular package. Physically they are stored with the same name in a different in a folder. So folder is a physical storage and package is a logical storage. All right, so here suppose I say I make it as com.training and give the name as hello world, which you already saw in the first example which I showed with online compiler. So I'm going to create a class called hello world and the package is com.training. So this header will come here, which means that all the class files that get created when I compile this will get stored in com.training. I'll show you that also. Now when I create a class, this is public class, and to execute this program I need a main method, not have any statements, so I need to write some statements to execute it. Now to write any statement, you can't write it directly inside the class, it has to be within a main method. So type main here and you have type control space. Now what is control space? I'll just control plus space. When you type, it's an assistant which helps in giving some proposals to you, so that it will save some time for you. You don't have to type the complete thing. For example, if I want to type main is not just main, I have so many other things which I have to add along with main. So those things I don't have to do it, because your control space will help you in doing that. So come here, control space, and it gives you a lot of proposals. Select the first one because it's talking about main method. So select that and it completes the main method. So main is always public static and void main. Why this is public static and void, that we will see in a later video. Now inside this, I have to write some executable statements. The very first program, we want to print something. So if you want to print something on the console, you just type sysout and again control space. So control space will complete that statement, which is system.out.println, where system.out is the standard output device, which is your um, visual display unit on which you will get the output. Print is a method which is called for the standard output device. So it is system.out.print, and here you type whatever message you want. And here I'm typing hello world. That's it. So this is our first program. Now this program is already compiled, and let us see if this program is compiled. Now how do I know if this is compiled or not? When your Java source code is compiled, it creates a class file with whatever name you have given. For example, here the class name is hello world. So it creates a class called hello world dot class, which is nothing but the bytecode. We also call it as bytecode. To execute it, you have to give the class name that was created by giving the command Java. So let us see whether this is compiled or not in our file, expl- file explorer. So now this was the folder. See here, you have demo project. Click on demo project. You have both bin and src. Src is where you have the source file, and we'll click on bin. Inside bin we have com. What is this com? Com is nothing but the package which we created. We created a package called com.training, right? So com is a folder, training is also another folder, and inside this you have hello world.class. So this is the class file which is created. So the program has compiled. Now how do we execute it? If you want, you can execute it from the command prompt also. From here, you can enter into the command prompt and you can give the command as Java, you can execute it. And of course, there it works only if you have set the path. Now we are not going to worry about that. Now we are going to execute it from Eclipse itself. So I'll click on, either you can click on this toolbar, or you can click on right click, say run as Java application. So that's printed. So my first Java program is working. I hope this is helpful to you.